If you're intending immigrating to Canada and you intend to immigrate to Quebec, one of the provinces in Canada, this video is for you. If you're intending to immigrate to Canada as a non-French speaking immigrant, especially if you're intending to immigrate to Quebec as a non-French speaking person, this video is for you. If you already immigrated to Canada and you live in Quebec specifically as a non-French speaking immigrant, this video is for you. In this video, I will be addressing ways by which we as non-French speaking immigrants can make our lives a little more easy living in Quebec. If this video is something that you'll be interested in, please stay till the end of the video. Click on the like button, click on the subscribe button, and you also know that you have to share it to your friends who are non-French speaking immigrants themselves. So guys, let's get straight into it. Quebec has an official language and it's French, and they do not joke with French. So the government of Quebec recently passed laws making French very compulsory in some aspects of governance. Not just some aspects of governance, in some aspect of the day-to-day living of the citizens of Quebec. A lot of laws is passed that has made life a little bit more difficult for Quebecers, especially non-French speaking Quebecers in general. As we also all know, French is not the easiest language to learn, or maybe just to me, to find myself in a province that only accepts French language as its official language is quite daunting. And the fact that it's not even easy to learn the language, it comes with its own disadvantages. So I chose to do this video in order for us to be able to talk and relate as regards how we can cope as English speakers living in Quebec. First, I want to put a disclaimer out that this video is not to restrict you or to stop you from learning French, because you actually stand better chances of living a very good and comfortable life if you learn how to speak French in Quebec. It opens up the doors of opportunities for you. You would be working as a bilingual agent or bilingual staff, and your money, of course, is going to be more because you speak both languages. If you're able to speak English and you're able to speak French, it's a plus for you. Always. It's always a plus for you. Trust me, I've done a video before where I said that a lot of French speakers or a lot of Quebecers prefer that you speak French to them. And sometimes they do understand English, but they will tell you they don't understand English. They'll tell you in English that they don't understand English, and then you'll be wondering. Yes, so it is very important that you learn to speak French. If you're also one of us and you're not very good with French, you have tried and it's not working out, or you don't even know how to learn, because trust me, there are still a lot of people out there who are not just capable of learning a new language, especially at their adult age. If you're one of us, welcome to the party. How can you cope living in Quebec? The first thing that I would suggest is not to stay in Quebec. Yes, it's hard to hear, but it's the truth. If you are not very good with French, you can go to other provinces. Quebec is just one of the many provinces in Canada, and you can go to other provinces. Canada in general is supposed to be bilingual, but there are some cities that are only, like, you just would find English speakers, and there are some cities that still allow you to be able to speak English and French, and they would understand you perfectly. You can look for other provinces that actually suits your need and suits the need of your family instead of coming to Quebec. But if you choose Quebec because Quebec has its own advantages, yes, in as much as some people don't want to hear, Quebec has its advantages, and I live in Quebec. But if you're not able to learn it in full, you're not able to go the way in learning the language to the extent of you being able to converse with it fluently, sometimes it's best to learn the basics. So, learn the basics like, do you want to eat? How are you? What's your name? All those little things that you can just use to like start a conversation. For me, it has been parlez-vous anglais, s'il vous plaît? I'm ashamed of myself. I'm so ashamed of myself. But yeah, guys, that actually works for me because when I get out there and I say bonjour, and the person I'm speaking with replies me and says bonjour, next thing on my lips is parlez-vous anglais, s'il vous plaît? I don't even know if that is correct or not, but I know it works. And from there, I can start a conversation in English. I'm not saying you should be like me. You can be better. You can be way, way better than me. And like I said, I'm ashamed of myself that I haven't gotten so much, but learn the basics that would help you to start a conversation. And alongside, you can now review your big secret that you don't actually know how to speak it, but at least you have endeared the person you're speaking with, the French speaker, you've endeared that person to you in one way or the other, and the person would be willing to at least accommodate your request of speaking English. Don't take things to heart. So when you're trying to go and converse with people and they act like they don't actually understand you because you're not speaking in French, don't take it to heart, because even if it were you living in your home country and someone comes to you and says they don't understand your language, and if your language is like prevalent in that area, you know how you react, right? You know how you react. It's the same thing. So I've learned to not take it to heart. I would repeat myself over and over until you understand me and get me what I want. In order to be able to help yourself, if you're able to find cities like tourist cities in Quebec uh, that are open to English, it's going to be best to live in such places. Okay, for example, in Montreal is French speaking. Of course, because it's in Quebec, it's French speaking, but there is a part of Montreal that allows English a lot. And I think it's downtown Montreal where you can actually converse in English, and a lot of people would just understand you and speak English to you straight up. So you'll be fine. So if you can live in downtown Montreal, you would be fine. If you can live in areas that are more accommodating for English speakers, you have to do your research and find those areas. It's gonna be okay. So right here, I live in Gatineau. Gatineau is close to Ottawa, so they are kind of liberal when it comes to languages. And I just pray that it continues to be like that, because trust me, the laws keep getting stricter and stricter and stricter in Quebec, especially when it comes to their language laws. I would always suggest Gatineau to anybody that cares to listen, because Gatineau, like I said, is close to Ottawa. So they're liberal because they're close to the capital. So they don't really have a choice when it comes to trying to understand you and trying to help you out with things and daily activities and stuff. You will still be able to navigate yourself even with the language barrier. Find a frontline job. When I mean a frontline job, I mean jobs in the healthcare field where they really need a lot of people and they might be willing to accommodate someone who doesn't speak English. While you're on the job, you might learn to speak English, because you definitely need to be able to speak with your clients or the patients. And of course, you need to be able to communicate with them. So you might still get to have to learn some, like the basics, like I said. But there are other jobs that you can try. Customer service is one of them. And I know that there's a lot of other ones then that you can try. And you will just be speaking English while working. There are a lot of English speaking jobs out there. So trust me, it's not very easy to find, but you'll definitely get one if you're looking for one. Of course, this one I overflogged already. Learn French. Just learn French. Learn French. There's no two ways about it. And next on my list, get an interpretation app. Get apps that can help you interpret what is being said to you in French, that can help you interpret letters or correspondences from government offices or from your place of work or from other things. Get an app. Make it easy for yourself to understand what is being sent to you. Because trust me, Canada is a document oriented country. You get to have documents, you get to have papers, you get to have mails being sent to you all the time, and you would need to interpret them in so from French to English. So you'll be able to understand what is being sent to you. So get an app, install an app. Google Translate is there. There are other apps that you can use, and there are other apps that can actually help you learn French too. So you can do that and help yourself feel better at home in Quebec. Okay, this one is funny, but it's an option. Love your neighbor as yourself. Love your neighbor as yourself. Meaning, if you're able to communicate with your neighbor, and if your neighbor is the type that speaks French, you can tell them to teach you, or you can use them as your Google translator. Does this even make sense? That was just comic relief, anyways. Love your neighbor as yourself. And last but not the least, if you're coming to Quebec, be open minded. Be open minded because, trust me, the lifestyle is different. Quebecois are special, they are nice, but they prefer that you speak to them in the language that they understand, and it's French. So, if you want to live a comfortable life, if you want to live a life without any grievances or issues, it's just best to learn the language. Or do yourself a favor and go to a different province. Thank you for watching me today. My name still remains Adi Dayo. Do have a wonderful day, and bye for now.